Welcome back, Joy Starters. I am so excited. This is part 2, week 2 of our speaker series on all the speakers that are going to be at the I'm Changing the Narrative retreat in February. We're like 70 days away, y'all. We purposely planned it so that we go through the holidays, and then there's that week after the holidays, after Christmas, where you don't know who you are. You've eaten too much casserole. Your stretch pants are stretched. You don't know what your name is. And then there's a new year, and then new year, new you. And yesterday, another couple booked. Single people have booked. There's going to be a joy ball and a gala. And anyway, I've been selling this thing for a long time. So let me let you in on part 2 of this amazing conversation with these humans that have changed my life. And because of our connection, changed so many other people's lives. So enjoy. I love you guys. Please share this with somebody. Please subscribe, share it with somebody. And then in the show notes are where you can follow all these amazing people. Love you guys. And so Shannon and Shirley, I'm going to have y'all go next. And very briefly, I met Shannon and Shirley at a conference through a gentleman, a brother of ours named Jeremy Anderson. And just a side note, y'all, be bold. 3.5 years ago, I dropped into Jeremy Anderson's DMs. He did not follow me. I thought he would never see the DM. And I said, hey, you host these conferences. If you can't tell it by my last name, but I'm Latina and I've done X, Y, Z, and D, and I would love to speak at your conference. And I thought that he would never see it. And months go by, and all of a sudden I get a message and he says, hey, sis, I'm just now seeing this. Let's talk. And we ended up, and here's why we're all here with the other thread that connects us: relationship, community. We are nothing without each other. And the forces in the world right now are further isolating us. And I feel a very big storm of people going back to slowing down, disconnecting, getting out of fight or flight. There's studies right now, they're talking about there's a rise of granny hobbies. And it's because people are tired. They're tired. People want to hug and look each other in the eyeballs and hand a plate off, Laura, and say thank you. And they want a full belly and want to knit and can. And Laura used to have a whole food garden in her backyard, not lying. And everything had its own watering system. She grew all her own food. It was beautiful.
And my neighbors.
Yes.
I grew so much, I was just giving it away to people.
Oh, yeah.
Feed everybody.
We would eat a salad, and it was all made from these things in her backyard. So I go and speak at this conference. I see Shannon and Shirley there. I was immediately gravitated towards Shirley. We got to be friends. We traded books, all of those things, and a relationship grew from it. And then there was another point, and I'm very open about this, another point in my marriage where times were very tough. And I sought her out. And I know Shannon was right behind her in her ear, coaching me as well. But I sought her out and she became my marriage coach. And this was last fall. This was 1 year ago. And I, again, needed to jerk a knot in my chain, if you will. And I, again, needed some reality. And I also credit Shannon and Shirley with helping me come back to self, opening my eyes, and saving my marriage. And I will tell you this, here's the deepest lesson I think I've learned both from Jeremy and Shannon and Shirley, and that is it's not about him. All the work that I needed to do was right here. And I kept pointing the finger, and Shirley, as my coach, would not allow me to do that. And none of our sessions had to do with my husband. They had to do with how I was showing up. And this retreat is going to be, there's going to be hard moments, y'all. We're going to hug people. We're going to hold them. We're going to hold up mirrors to their face lovingly. This is not a raw sis boom ba retreat. There will be hard moments. Yes, it's like camp for big kids, I've been saying, but there are going to be hard moments where people are really doing the work and really looking inward. And I'm so thankful to both of them. And fast forward to the conference this year, I was speaking again. And I've never told you this, Shannon, but I wanted to wait to tell you this. So when I finish speaking, I'll come off stage oftentimes, almost every time, and I don't have anything left. I'm spent. I am done. I have run 3 marathons physically, emotionally, spiritually. I have given every cell in my body, like I have used it. I have poured out. And God, frankly, has spoken through me. And I don't know what told you to do that, Shannon, but he was the first person to meet me as I came off stage. And he just enveloped me and hugged me and held me, and we both wept. And it was a very sacred, I call myself a sacred space holder. I'm no longer a speaker. And it was a very sacred moment. And I want to thank you for that, brother, because I don't know what told you, who told you, maybe it was God to do that, but I needed you in that moment. I needed that energy exchange. I needed that sacred space to be held. And quite frankly, I needed your hug. And so thank you for doing that. And lastly, I'll say this and I'll let them talk is that Shannon posted something recently. And I said, Ooh, Lord, I want you to speak on that. And he said, Cancer saved my life. And that was deep because I think, much like what Jeremy said, and much like the thread that we're all weaving here, if we can look at these things that we think that come to hinder us and we look deeper and we investigate, oftentimes they save our lives. And without further ado, I'll let Shannon and Shirley introduce themselves. They speak on marriages, relationships. There are people that are going to be there that are single. There's married couples, there's people in all stages and ages. And so they're going to be speaking to mixed crowd, but I would say relationships and marriages are their specialty.
Thank you for having us, Rachel. I love you to pieces. Hello, everybody. As Rachel said, we are Marriage Inc. And basically, our passion is just relationships. And it's not just marriage. So many times we have challenges with people. We can have a challenge with the person in the car behind us. And that lets us know that the inner me is the enemy. We want to make everybody else the enemy. And so what we do is we help people to see themselves. When you can see yourself, that's where your peace comes. And we have to learn to operate from a place of it doesn't matter what anybody else does, how anybody else shows up. How I show up dictates how I feel and how I move. And so just in the work that we do, Shannon and I, we've been through hell and back. Our story it's quite bananas, and we shouldn't even be here talking to you today. But it wasn't until we got to the point where we said, that's enough. I can't take anymore. I didn't want to be on this earth anymore. We had dealt with infidelity. He had just found out that I had an affair. And I was like, God, what is going on? I'm literally feel the torment in my mind. And I was driving in my car one day. I'll never forget this moment. And I was at a stop sign and I said, God, help me to take my eyes off of Shannon. I need you to show me. I'm releasing him because I've spent the first 8 years of our marriage trying to change him. And at that moment, that's when God was like, yes, baby girl, now we can get to work and we can do something. And it wasn't easy. It was very difficult. And we had even more difficult moments. But with the mindset shift of it does not matter what Shannon does or does not do, how he shows up, what he says, what he does not say. And Shannon, once he adopted that as well, our life has gone up. And that doesn't mean that we have been free of challenges. Absolutely not. But that just means that we keep our eyes on the main thing. And we just want to help people to see what the main thing is and how to move forward.
Rachel, I came to you and hugged you because you spoke to my soul. So it was probably a very selfish hug because by proximity more than anything else, I know you. So and then I know Jeremy, so I can even be in that space to be behind the stage. And you spoke to my soul that day. What the rest of beautiful people don't know is that was my first time being in public after a stem cell transplant. So I was racked with fear, trying to navigate who to hug, who not to hug, who to be close to. And you spoke to my soul so deeply that I threw caution to the wind, and I didn't care what communicable disease you might have. You could have had a cold, you could have had COVID, you could have had the flu. I didn't care.
Wow.
Because I needed to be in your space to feel what I believe the Holy Spirit had done through you. I knew that I needed that. What's interesting when people, each of us have these expertises, right? And we speak on them. But when people ask us to step outside of that necessarily expertise, for some it could be challenging. For me, it's not that challenging because I'm truly Jamaican, right? So my father is Jamaican. The joke about Jamaicans have a lot of jobs. I'm a polymath. And I have had multiple careers. It's so interesting, Laura. I too have toured the world on tour buses, on planes, working as an audio engineer at a very high level on a large stage. But I was a nurse before that. And for many years. And then before that, I was a soldier for many years. And then after I transitioned from being an audio engineer into being a culinary entrepreneur, we had a dessert company that I started coming off tour because I didn't have anything to do. I wasn't going to anything next. We were in New Zealand and everybody, the crew was having these conversations about what you got next? What do you have next? And I didn't have anything. And I didn't want to be the man sitting at home on my butt doing nothing. And my wife was looking at me. And so this cake business, this dessert business developed and grew and blossomed. And after that, we became marriage coaches. And when I got out of the Army, I was a motivational speaker. So I'm able to pull from so many different places when asked to step outside of something that I'm quote unquote an expert in.
Yeah.
And I am looking forward to growing at this retreat for my personal growth, because if you all are anything like me, more often than not, I am more often than not talking to myself. And everybody else is just getting caught up in the drive-by. And the lesson that is reverberating in my head over and over again in this season of my life is that your trials come to make you stronger.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Bible says. I believe it wholeheartedly.
Yep.
But very few people, and I think we talked about this on the podcast, Rachel, very few people ask stronger for what?
Mm.
If Shirley and I did not go through what we went through, I would not be able to experience not only 3 cancer diagnoses, but an additional diagnosis of congestive heart failure,
Wow.
open heart surgery. I wouldn't have been able to have the desire, yet the energy to share with anyone else and try to help them grow. And so, although I don't need to get no stronger, God has allowed me. Rachel, before I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, I was 385 pounds, 285 pounds. Jeremy affectionately called me Big Shan. I'm already tall, but I was wide and deep. And I had been heavier, but I was on a path of, death was the only, a debilitated, no good quality of life, and then ultimately death was the road that I was on. And I did not know how to get off the road. And God was like, I got more work for you to do. So I need you to get off the road. I know what I'll do. I'll give him another disease.
Wow.
This one is a little worse because he responds well to disease. He will stop doing things. He will change how he does things if he has a disease. Remember my nursing background.
Yeah.
I feel so sure one would say, why would God do that to you? I feel so sure that he did it because he needed me to be healthy enough
Yeah.
and be able to handle the rigors of the exchange with other humans. And so I was forced to look at myself when I was diagnosed, and I was like, I got to change some stuff. And a combination of that change and then my stem cell transplant. After my stem cell transplant, I developed this thing called mucositis, which is from your mouth to your butthole. Like your mucous membranes are breaking down and raw, and you develop mouth sores. And I did things to avoid a lot of that. I didn't have any mouth sores, but from my throat down, it was a wrap. So I couldn't eat. The very smell of food just would disgust me.
Mm.
And I was around 260 then, 250, somewhere in there. I went down to 217. So I'm little Shan now. Like I wear her shirts. And God was like, this is where I need you to be, because this is where you'll be able to have the stamina to do the things that I'm going to need for you to do as long as I give you more life.
Oof.
But I still, my mother would say, a hard head makes a soft behind. And I'm still a little hard-headed, and I got a lot to learn. I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story, and I'm gonna be quiet. My son was in town, my baby boy. So all of us were here together for the holidays. And I'm a hard nut to crack, guys. I could be very difficult. Once I get my mind set on something, if I don't want to do it, I ain't doing it. And I have developed from my trauma problems with Shirley's family, talking about the relationship expert. But I have developed and created a narrative in my mind that causes me to not want to be involved in family gatherings. But my baby was home.
Mm.
And I didn't have enough sense. I could not get out of my way. And I didn't go with them to her family's house.
Mm-hmm.
And they had fun and made memories. Laura, I am out of so many pictures because I was on the road. But I wasn't on the road this time.
Mm.
I was here. And I chose not to go. And I heard them talking about how much fun they had. And I said, you idiot, you missed a golden opportunity. That might not ever come again.
Mm.
And what I want from this, what I would like to see from this retreat is if I can help people walk away, not getting in their own way and not spoiling opportunities because they can't make the shift, then I will have done what Rachel has asked me to do.
Woof. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Shirley.
Thank you.
From all of us. That is why I no longer call myself a speaker. I call myself a sacred space holder. And actually now, just in this latest iteration of myself, are teaching others to be sacred space holders. And I think without knowing it, each of you are a sacred space holder. You create these vulnerable, beautiful spaces for people to be real and take off their mask. And you're healers. And that, my friends, what we just witnessed was Shannon's soul feeling safe enough to share something that was deeply personal to him, that had moved him, that had changed the way he's going to moving forward. Okay. And so I recognize they're like big flashing lights. My soul says, ping, ping, ping. When it's a sacred moment, I breathe. I thank God and for allowing me to be present and to create these spaces. And that is exactly what this retreat is. So we love you, Shannon. We love you, Shirley. And it's why I wanted you here. And Lindsay came to me through her brother many years ago, and we were trying to, Lindsay is a mindfulness expert, and we kept trying to connect. And when we finally connected, I was in my uncle's neighborhood, but I really wanted to talk to her. And so I drove around my uncle's neighborhood 45 times, not kidding you. I probably almost got shot because people thought I was casing the place. And over let's say the last 5 years, ever how long it's been, several, Lindsay has been quietly behind the scenes for more than a few athletes all over the country where their mental health department, their therapists were overloaded. I called the head coach and asked, can they talk to Lindsay? Do we have that? And every head coach said to me, please, we don't have anybody, please. She's been on the other end of young men in the middle of the night. We've chased people down. We've made sure people were okay. We've made sure that athletes' families had food because they were sending all their money home. We've put Walmart gift cards in people's mailboxes anonymously so that their family had food to eat and so that the athlete could keep the money that he was making at college. This was a little bit before the crazy NIL days. So she has been instrumental and transformational, and she is going to walk us through meditation and mindfulness and all of the things that we're talking about. This retreat, y'all, if y'all haven't figured it out yet, it's from the top of your head to the bottom of your toes. Heck, we may even ask Laura to do a cooking class for us or help us plant some things. I'm not kidding you. We might get some dirt. We plant some, go on a field trip and put our hands in dirt. But if y'all haven't figured this out yet, it is your soul, your money, your relationships, your health, your mind, your joy, your purpose. Yeah. So, Lindsay, I'd love for you to share with everybody a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I also have not met Rachel in person yet. And I also, during PALS, got in touch with Jeremy. So Jeremy, you helped me a long time ago. I've been following you and I recommend your stuff to everybody. And I am so excited, Shannon and Shirley and Laura, to just be part of all of this. Like Rachel, it's just everything is incredible. I think everything has come back to, in this conversation, authenticity. I think that's what we just saw from Shannon and Shirley and Laura and Jeremy and you, Rachel, being present, like just seeing you taking a breath and being present and holding that space is exactly why I am part of this. And I know the power of not just meditation and being mindful, but the power of all of this connected. And I'm so excited to share, like that's my passion, is sharing, is showing people. It's hard to put into words, but I think what we all can do together is show people. I think meditation ties in with the mindfulness, obviously, and relationships and our relationship with money and connecting and feeling joy, allowing ourselves to feel joy and be part of that. So for me, being part of this is incredibly special. It's an honor for me. I love to help people, like each one of us has said. And this is just a really great opportunity to reach people and help people. The idea for this started with me. Our brains, scientifically, I put this very simply, our brains do not know the difference between something visualized really well and something in reality. Yep. So if you can visualize it, you can make it happen. And I just love to teach that, to show that. So whether you're an athlete, whoever you are, you need to know that. And so I make it my mission to tell people and show people that. And so again, I'm just really excited to guide people to this special place with you guys.
Thank you. And lastly, very briefly, I cannot let everybody go without telling y'all the marketing genius that is behind this, and that is my girl, Kim. We share brains. We laugh about this. She's been with me for a couple of years now and literally is my right-hand person, and we become beautiful friends. And so anything marketing, anything that looks like genius, it's her. And so, Kim, I'd love for you. Kim is also a coach and an author and a mother and a beautiful life warrior. And she is the person behind the marketing behind all of this and has been so helpful. And so anything you need, you can reach out to both of us. But Kim, if you will, just say a few words because I'd love for everybody to know who you are.
Thank you, Kim. Hi, I've also talked to Jeremy on the phone before and have known him from the Pals days. But yeah, I came to Rachel actually through somebody who I think was a Jeremy connection, which was Brandy Sappington. She's the one who found me and brought me to Rachel. And I do podcast production and some of the social media. We also have some really great virtual assistants who do a lot of the design work. But I just do a little bit of everything for Rachel. And we really do, it feels like some days we do share a brain because we can be texting each other the exact same thing at the exact same time. And then I just personally will add that I, when I got divorced, which has been 2 full years ago, but the separation was going on in this whole time I have known Rachel, I became a little bit of an adventure junkie as my coping mechanism. And I do some pretty crazy racing in my kayak. And I started last year, it came out of my trip where I went to see Rachel. I went down to Tybee Island to do a race and only intended on staying there for a half marathon for 4 days. And over the course of talking to other people that are involved in this movement, turned that trip into almost 4 weeks while I was trying to heal my broken heart. And I came up with this concept that I've been working on all year called the Yes Life Project. And that's something I've been working on, which is just saying yes to yourself and yes to adventure and yes to having a full and fabulous life. And so that's something I've launched harder within the last 2 months.
And I'll brag on her and then we'll wrap up. Y'all, the divorce, if I may, was a surprise. And instead of laying down and dying, Kim chose to reinvent herself. Kim chose to get out there. Kim chose to go on an adventure. Doesn't mean that she was exempt from a broken heart. Doesn't mean that she didn't feel it, but she decided to live. And I tell her that all the time. I brag on her all the time. I'm like, girl, you need to write a book. You need to blog. Another one. You need to blog. You need to create a course. You need to do the things because there are so many people out there that didn't want the divorce either and were blindsided and they're paralyzed. They don't know what to do. And she has, and I'm sure there were some days she didn't know how to kayak. She went and bought herself a kayak. She taught herself how to kayak. She was sending me videos of trying to put the kayak on the top of her car and and she's a petite, right? And so I tell her that all the time. I'm in awe of you because you could have just said lights out, pull the covers over your head. And every single one of us have been through things where we decided to fight. We decided to live. And that doesn't, again, make us exempt from the broken heart or the not the money in the bank or the betrayal or whatever it is. But it means we've just chosen to not just survive, but to thrive. And now she's a lot of things, but she's an adventure gal. She's a mom. She's a coach. And so she doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to ask her to present. I guess I'm telling her now at the retreat because I think that she has a lot to teach people too. And maybe also on some marketing, but on this Yes Project, I think she needs to present that. So all that to say is I love y'all. Y'all are amazing. Thank y'all for blessing me. Thank each one of y'all for blessing me by coming, by saying yes. You were chosen. I want you to know that you were chosen. And I just want to say thank y'all so much.
I have one quick question, Rachel.
Yeah.
How far is the beach from where the main events will be happening?
A block and a half. You can see the beach. So it's the hotel and then there's an empty lot and then there's the beach. So it's like block and a half. Some of the rooms will have a beach view. Everything will be there at the hotel minus the bonfire on the beach on Friday night. Everything will be there at the hotel, self-contained. The ball will be there on Saturday night. And then on Sunday, it's completely optional. But for those that choose to, we will bus them or van them to my church. For those that want to go to it's a non-denominational church. And then after that, we will have a farewell brunch. I think a real difference with this retreat is that, and something I'm very proud of, is that people can get up close and personal to you guys and you don't disappear behind a velvet rope. And nothing wrong with velvet ropes. Just saying they get that access to you. Thank y'all so much. We will talk soon.